guys, and welcome to another video. So I'm walking. I've been trying to walk at least twice a week, sometimes more, sometimes a little less. So I'm doing two things at once, trying to walk and film a video at the same time. Plus it is beautiful out here, and this is my favorite time of night, day, whatever you want to call it. It's my favorite time. So today I'm going to be talking about the dark sides of social media, and for writers, and especially like new writers who are coming into the industry and wanting to self-publish or be trad published, and like trying to like raise like your follower count and grow your social media, whatever platform you're on. And some of the things that you need to be prepared for that like other authors like me who have been doing this for a while have had to face, that like it would have helped if I had been more prepared emotionally and mentally for it, that can just help you kind of like have that armor and kind of second skin more. So I want to preface this by saying that like overall I have met so many wonderful authors and made so many friends that I never would have without social media. And in fact, like my editor and good author friend H.A. Pruitt, I wouldn't have known her if it wasn't for social media. And the fact is, we wouldn't have discovered that we live close enough to meet up, and now we meet up every once in a while to pass my book back from her when she's done editing, and we've developed like a really good friendship. And I wouldn't have met, I wouldn't have known about that without social media. So it has opened up so many doors and avenues and things. So I'm ultimately grateful for it, but there are a few things that you just need to be aware of. So let's get right into it. So this is more true for especially YouTube, but anytime you grow a presence online, especially if you're doing videos, whether that's YouTube long form like this or Reels, TikToks, things like that, you're always going to have people who are trolls. So sometimes you'll have comments on here and they'll just come in and be mean for no reason. Other times you'll still face, it's just like when you publish a book, you're going to have negative reviews, you're going to have to face criticism, and sometimes the criticism can be helpful, sometimes it can be leaning more toward the negative. Sometimes, and here lately, I did a video the other day about how a lot of readers online are starting to get in this bullying mentality, like, well, you're an author, I'm a reader, therefore I am your income, so you have to do what I say, and we have a right to like make demands. And it's like this weird toxic kind of mentality. So you're gonna have now in this time period as authors, whether self or trad published, you're gonna have to come into that, potentially facing that. I haven't encountered that in my personal, like among readers that I interact with, but it's starting to happen to some of the big names like Callie Hart and my brain just went blank. Callie Hart and Carissa Broadbent. And so the big time names are kind of starting to face that. And so it's just something to be aware of. And as I said, you'll always have trolls. Like, I've had one of my writer react videos got a comment one time. It was like, because I called it writer reacts to blah blah blah, and it's usually like a movie trailer or a TV show trailer, or I'm like reviewing a TV show or movie. And the comment on there was, it should be Jabba the Hutt reacts, basically because I'm fat. And it was kind of mean. So going into this growing of social media, like the dark side of social media is that you're gonna have to kind of have a thicker skin and a second skin, and not let the like troll kind of throwaway mean bullying comments get to you, because it's gonna happen whether you're an author or any other type of influencer. There's always gonna be those trolls that just come in and be mean because they feel it makes them feel better about themselves. And a lot of those type of people, like, they only do it because they feel safe behind a keyboard and a computer screen or a phone. They wouldn't actually do that in real life. So in my opinion, people like that are cowards. Not that I would rather somebody say that to my face, but they get emboldened because they feel brave because it's behind a phone, it's behind a computer, that sort of thing, that they wouldn't normally otherwise treat people in society. Because when you go out in society, most people have the Like, they've been taught well enough to know that you treat people with respect, you treat people cordially, you know, and you be nice to people when you go out in everyday life. Because chances are, if you start being mean to people in public, there's a high chance you're gonna get hit in real life. But so just if you're first starting out and trying to grow your social media, just try to be aware that there will be people who have those throwaway comments. The next thing to be aware of, especially on Instagram, I see this more than any other platform, is scammers. I get so many, like, sometimes the only comments I actually get are from scammers, and they're like, DM me, or not everybody who wants a personal message is like actually a scammer, but they'll tag another account, or they'll be like, DM me for this or that, and a lot of times they'll send you a private message and they'll ask you to be, you know, an ambassador for this or to do something, or they'll send you a link, and those links are usually linked to like viruses and like bad things. I've had my Instagram account a long time back before I knew any better. Clicked a link one time, didn't think anything of it, and the next thing I know, the hacker or whoever, the scammer, was able to like take over my account and just mass message every single one of my followers. I'm talking hundreds of people. Now I have over 1,000, so that would be horrific. So if I see something, somebody sends me a link and I do not know the author or did not previously discuss sending each other links back and forth, I will not click on it. I will just delete the message entirely. And you'll have a lot of spam comments on your post. And like I said, I only see this in Instagram. I've seen it maybe like once or twice on TikTok, but Instagram, it's almost consistently with most of my posts at one time or another. Now I think you can hide the comments, and at one point you could delete them and report them. So there is things you can do to prevent that. So just be aware of that. And likewise on it and Facebook Messenger, on my page on Messenger, I get a lot of like scammers. And another thing that I want to warn you guys about, and there will be people who disagree with me in the comments below, just keep it respectful if you disagree with me, and that's fine. But as a new author, you need to be aware there are going to be people who like post your book link, and you know, and so you're excited because it's a chance to promote your book, and you do that, and all that does, not all the time, but sometimes all that does is lead you into the situation where the person now has a bunch of new authors to target, and so they'll send you a message and be like, hey, I've got this company and they pay me and I can grow your social media, or I can make sure that you get tons of book reviews, and you just pay me this amount. And it's basically like, they're not always going to be scammers. Sometimes they are legitly a person who does have authors pay them to get tons of reviews, and other times they just say that and then they don't actually follow through, and it's a scam. So sometimes you'll do that and you will get the reviews, but either way, Amazon, I'm pretty sure, has a policy against you paying for reviews. So you always want to make sure that you're getting reviews from people who actually genuinely read your book. Don't pay somebody to get you a mass review. Now, there's a different situation where it's a big time company. I think Kirkus Reviews is one that I've heard of, where they're a big name, so you pay them to read and review your book, and it's a big time company, so having their name like reviewing your book can actually help promote it. I don't do that personally, just because I don't have the money, and I don't think it's as important as it used to be back in the day when you needed like an editorial review to like make yourself seem legit. I don't think it's too much important these days, but I've seen people who still do that. A couple weeks ago, I saw a woman promote her book, and she had the Kirkus Reviews or whatever it was at the top, like it has a Kirkus review type thing, whatever. So it still happens. That's not a scam if you know the company is big and you can guarantee that they're a big time name. These are just individual people that will message you on Facebook and Instagram, at least in my experience, wanting you to pay them to get reviews. I've seen this with beta readers too. Now there are people who actually do want to be paid to be beta readers. I don't even do that, because beta readers, the whole purpose behind them is that they're free. They're readers who love to read and who agree to read your book and just give you kind of like this vague, kind of loose overall feedback to help you and your editor in the editing process. You pay your editor because they're the ones actually editing the whole thing. And I've seen some beta readers who I didn't pay who did a fantastic job, like doing a lot of edits in my story, and I appreciate that. But overall, as a whole, I disagree with paying beta readers. And so to me, I would also warn you guys against those, because you don't want to pay a beta reader. Like, that is a free service that readers do out of the kindness of their heart because they love to read and they genuinely are interested in your book and wanting to give you feedback before you get to the publishing stage. Same with ARC readers. ARC readers is different because they agree to read your book and review it on and in and around your launch day or launch week. And so typically they're not paid either, because they are getting the privilege of reading your book before it's published. So that shouldn't be a paid service either. So that's just a few of the things. Scams and trolls are the big thing to watch out for, and the dark side of social media as you start to grow your social media and try to like sell your books and become a name for yourself and that sort of thing. So they're just something to be aware of. And I wanted to talk about it because I don't see anybody talking about it and warning like new writers and authors who are trying to grow their social media, and even new people who want to just be an influencer in general. Warning you about the kind of things to just be aware of. Developing a thick skin and not taking like bullying and bad comments and hateful comments seriously is one of the best skills that you can develop from the start, because I've only just now gotten to that point. And even then, I'll still read a comment like the Jabba the Hutt one, or something about they were commenting on our ceiling, and it was like the light that I have is like a yellow light, and so it just looks yellow, and they were talking about how they can smell the mold or something like that, and it was like really hurtful. And then like we had paid a lot of money to redo our roof because our roof was falling apart, and it's like, that's part of life, you can't control that. And so that one hit me really hard. And so you just have to take it with a grain of salt and have a thick skin, and don't take anybody seriously who is hateful and rude and criticizing you in a negative way. Don't take them seriously. Develop that thick skin early, because it'll really help you and save you a lot of heartache and pain that the rest of us like have gone through from the start without kind of like, it's kind of like a duh thing because it comes with the territory. But sometimes like when I first started, like I just genuinely didn't know anything, and so it was like I just learned through experience. So that and scams. So what are some of the things that you have experienced on social media, the dark sides of social media that to you is like the worst parts of it? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more writing and reading videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. In the meantime, if you liked my advice video about the dark sides of social media, then check out a video I did about taxes, because that's the dark side of actually being an author, is having to do your freaking taxes, and a lot of people don't talk about that part of it. So check that out. I give you all the tips and tricks and all the advice and everything that I've learned, so you don't want to miss that either.